Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Dr. Brian Echampon, regional ministers, parliamentarians and members of the Select Committee on Agriculture, Cocoa Affairs, and Select Committee on Finance, board chairs, board members, and chief executives of Cocoa Board and Tree Crop Development Authority, Osi Adeyo Kwesi Ekufu III, Omahini of Equiapem Traditional Area, World Bank Country Director, Development Partners, our gallant farmers, colleague members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished invited guests. My name is Emmanuel El Ankra, and on behalf of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, the World Bank, Cocoa Board, and the Tree Crop Development Authority, I'd like to thank you for accepting our invitation and to welcome you all to this launch of the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project. Okay, this is a point at which you all applaud. We're doing this under the theme, sowing the seeds of the future, unlocking Ghana's tree crop potential for inclusive and sustainable transformation. So this morning, together, we will sow seeds that will create productive jobs. We will sow seeds that will open up viable market linkages. We will sow seeds that will enhance private sector competitiveness. And we will sow seeds that will attract private investment and financing. But first, we need some rains, don't we? Showers of blessings from above. Our opening prayer will be said by the Reverend David Ofori-Mensah of the Grace Baptist Church. Let's welcome him.
Please, let's pray. Father, we thank you this morning for the gift of life. We thank you for your hands that are always upon our lives. We thank you for your grace that is sufficient unto us and for bringing us this far into this place. This morning we say from the depths of our hearts that we are grateful unto you. We commit this gathering into thy holy hands. We are gathered here to do this day, that at the end of today's meeting, we shall have all the cause to say that indeed it has been the doing of the Lord. Jehovah, we thank you and we bless you for your presence in the midst of your people this morning, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, so you can see some seats behind me. At some point during this program, we're going to have a brief panel discussion with experienced personalities in the industry, and they'll be sharing with us their experiences, their challenges, and prospects for the future in terms of tree crop diversification. But first, let's deal with some Lantania protocol. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture is the landlord of this project. They gave birth to it. They are going to guide it and see it through to its expected successful end. And so they're very happy that they're delighted that you are here with us, and they are going to welcome us. To do that for the ministry is the chief director. He is an experienced agriculturist, extension and rural development professional with a demonstrated history of working in the farming industry. As the chief director of the ministry, he advises the minister on all policies and other matters related to the sector. He also coordinates the development and implementation of agri-sector policies in consonance with national development policy strategies. He guides, coordinates, monitors, and supervises the work of all directors within the ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chief director of MOFA, Mr. Paul Siame.
Thank you very much, El, for those nice compliments. Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Echampon, honorable members of Parliament present, TDCA and Cocoa Board Board of Directors present, the Chief Executive Officer, Cocoa Board, the Chief Executive Officer, TCDP, Nananum present, World Bank Country Director, development partners present, private sector actors in the tree crops space, our noble and gallant farmers present here, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to you all from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you to the official launch of the Ghana Tree Crops Diversification Project. Today marks a significant milestone in our journey to transform the agricultural landscape of our beloved country, and we are thrilled to have all of you here to witness the beginning of what we are confident will be a transformative initiative. The Ghana Tree Crops Diversification Project is a bold and a visionary effort by the government of Ghana through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in partnership with the World Bank. This project aims to diversify the country's agricultural output by promoting the cultivation of tree crops along our traditional food crops. It forms part of the broader strategy by government to ensure that agriculture in Ghana is not only resilient in the challenges posed by climate change, but also equipped to meet the demands of our increasing globalized and dynamic economy. Tree crops such as cocoa, cashew, coconut, mango, oil palm, rubber, shea, and others offer a unique opportunity to enhance food security, improve economic resilience, generate employment, and promote sustainable agricultural growth. In particular, the tree crop sector holds tremendous potential for boosting export earnings as global demand for these commodities, I mentioned, continue to rise. By increasing the production capacity and strengthening value chains, we will open new markets for our farmers, create jobs for the young people, and contribute to poverty reduction in rural communities. The launch of the Tree Crops Diversification Project today represents a clear commitment by the government of Ghana to support farmers with the knowledge, technology, and resources needed to succeed in producing cocoa, cashew, coconut, and rubber. Through comprehensive training programs, access to high-quality seedlings, and a supportive policy environment, we are laying the foundation for sustainable agricultural system that will lead to long-term success. Acknowledging the vast potential of these crops for driving the economic progress, this project also aims to tackle key challenges that compromise productivity and sustainability in the cocoa, cashew, and rubber industry. These challenges include, as we all know, deforestation, environmental degradation, child labor, and gender inequality, all of which will be addressed through targeted interventions as part of this project initiative. We are particularly excited as a ministry that the role this project will play in empowering smallholder farmers, especially women and youth, who are the backbone of our rural agricultural communities and economies. We understand that for any agricultural transformation to succeed, it must be inclusive. And this project is designed to ensure that no one is left behind. As we begin the implementation of this project, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the World Bank, Cocoa Board, the Tree Crops Development Authority, the Cocoa Research Institute, CSR OPRI, the Oil Palm Research Institute. Then we have the CSR Crop Research Institute. Our private sector partners and all stakeholders who have tirelessly worked to bring this project to fruition. Your support and commitment are invaluable, and we look forward to continue your strong partnership in the years ahead. Let me, at this point, indicate that it is not just an agricultural initiative, that's the tree crop diversification project. It's a key component of Ghana's broader development agenda. Through this project, we are setting the stage for a more sustainable, prosperous, and inclusive future for our farmers, our communities, and our nation as a whole. Once again, I welcome you all to today's event. Thank you, and may God bless you all. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. We all know of the advantage of having senior siblings, right? I mean, they show you the ropes. They know which walls to climb, which farms you can enter, maybe pluck a few fruits, which farms you dare not enter, which gutters you can cross, which ones you can't cross, and they will help you to go through it. Eventually, the younger siblings sometimes get even smarter than the senior siblings because of the experience gathered from the two. Ghana Tree Crop Development and Diversification Project has two such senior siblings, in the presence of Cocoa Board and the Tree Crop Development Authority. They are here to share their experiences, where to go, where not to go, and how to tread all around. First, let's invite the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, tell you a bit about him. He has 3 decades of experience on the national and international levels on all fronts. Under his stewardship, Ghana recorded the highest ever cocoa production volume of over 1 million metric tons and the highest increment in the producer price of cocoa. He is also internationally credited with spearheading the establishment of the living income differential on the sale of cocoa from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, which ensures that cocoa farmers receive an extra $400 income on every ton they sell. For that achievement, Cote d'Ivoire conferred on him their national award of Commander of the National Order of Merit. Wish I could say that in French. And then he also got one from Ghana with his National Award of Companion of the Order of the Volta. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, senior sibling Cocoa Board is here. Please welcome the Chief Executive, Honorable Joseph Boyhin AJ.
Siadeyo Kwesi Akufu, the third, Paramount Chief of Ekwapim Traditional Area. Nananom, my own Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Dr. Brana Chiampo, who is also a Member of Parliament. The Minister of Finance Rep here, Dr. Amon, the country representative of the World Bank, CEO of the Tree Crop Development Authority, members of Parliament here present, directors, executive directors of various institutions, the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Cote d'Ivoire Cocoa Initiative, Monsieur Alex Asanvo, our gallant cocoa farmers and farmers here, representatives from the public and private sector, representatives from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to witness the launch of the Tree Crops Diversification Project today. We witness today an effort that began at the World Bank's spring meeting of 2018, where Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire jointly met with the bank to raise funding to support the rejuvenation of cocoa plantations in both countries. At the time, about 317,000 hectares of cocoa farms in Ghana were infested with the cocoa swollen shoot virus disease. Discussions had already commenced with the African Development Bank to rehabilitate about 186,000 hectares of the affected farms. Hence, Cocoa Board sought through the government of Ghana $300 million from the bank to finance further rehabilitation of the diseased farms and promote domestic processing and utilization of cocoa. In the course of engagements, an agreement was reached with the bank to release part of the funding to the then Planting for Export and Rural Development program of government of Ghana, which was subsequently converted into the Tree Crops Development Authority. It is therefore with joy and pride that these efforts have culminated in the Tree Crops Diversification Project being launched today. It is equally refreshing to know that through this project, the World Bank shares Cocoa Board's vision of modernizing the cocoa sector into a competitive, resilient, and robust industry that provides optimum benefits to all stakeholders, along with a thriving environment and communities. Modernization of the industry requires a paradigm shift in production technology and tradition of cultivation. As such, Cocoa Board in 2018 introduced a package of scientifically proven technologies for improving productivity and achieving climate resilience. Prior to 2018, the Plant Protection and Subsidized Fertilizer Distribution Programs introduced 20 years ago were the only innovations for increasing on-farm productivity. Farm-led rehabilitation could not match the speed of the spread of the cocoa swollen shoot virus disease. Ladies and gentlemen, we are glad to know that the Tree Crops Diversification Project is designed to contribute to the aforementioned efforts of Cocoa Board through investments for strengthening Cocoa Board's institutional capacity and digital transformation, improving productivity and climate resilience through intensive research on CSSVD management, rehabilitation of diseased farms, and strengthening cocoa cooperatives, assisting small-scale and artisanal manufacturers to increase value addition and create jobs in cocoa processing, as well as protecting children and other vulnerable groups within the selected cocoa landscape. By committing resources to interventions in these areas, the bank the World Bank, is contributing to government's overall strategy for cocoa sector modernization. We are committed to ensuring the effective and efficient implementation of the project. We expect that the project will leave a lasting impact on the target beneficiaries and communities and pave the way for more of such collaborations. To ensure that the full benefits of the funding are realized, Cocoa Board has committed an in-kind counterpart contribution of $27.5 million USD to the project. On behalf of the board and management of Cocoa Board, I wish to express our gratitude to the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the World Bank for their continued support towards a thriving and sustainable cocoa sector. Together with all stakeholders, we shall achieve our shared objective of competitive tree crop sector that provides adequate economic returns to farmers and support environmental, social, and economic sustainability. I hope that this will only be the beginning of greater achievements to come within the cocoa sector. Thank you for your presence, and then thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now the next senior sibling. Honorable William Ejapon Kwetu has an extensive educational and professional background. He served as a member of parliament for the Akim Oda constituency from 2013 to 2021, where he chaired several parliamentary committees. He was appointed Deputy Minister for Agriculture in 2017 and has held key roles at Enterprise Works Ghana, USAID, and Ghana Cocoa Board. Currently, he serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tree Crops Development Authority, a role he has held since 2021. Distinguished invited guests, please help me welcome the CEO of TCDA, Honorable William Ejapon Kwetu.
Asiadio Kwesi Ekufu, the third, Paramount Chief of Akuapem Traditional Area. My Minister, Honorable Dr. Brian Champon, Minister of Food and Agriculture, Honorable Minister of Finance, his representative here, distinguished board members of Tree Crops Development Authority and that of Cocoa Board, the Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, the Country Director, World Bank, our development partners, private sector representatives, farmers, researchers, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am delighted that we have all gathered here today to launch the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project, a landmark initiative that signifies an essential milestone in Ghana's agricultural transformation. The journey to this moment has been long and challenging, yet gratifying. Today, we celebrate the collective commitment embodied in the Tree Crops Development Authority's 5-year development strategy, 2022 to 2027, because this project is grounded in the 5-year development strategy. Ghana's tree crop sector has vast but untapped potential for fostering economic growth and sustainable development. While cocoa has served as Ghana's primary cash crop and a steady source of foreign exchange earnings for over a century, the sector is faced with systemic challenges, including low productivity, poor quality of produce, price volatility, limited access to finance and markets, and an inadequate regulatory environment, all of which hinder competitiveness and sustainability. Despite these obstacles, the tree crop sector remains a promising pathway for economic diversification. Recognizing this, the government established the Tree Crop Development Authority, TCDA, through an Act of Parliament, the Tree Crop Development Authority Act 2019, numbered the Act 1010. The TCDA is tasked to regulate and develop sustainable production, processing, and trading of defined tree crops, namely cashew, coconut, rubber, mango, oil palm, and shea. The aim of TCDA is to create a highly developed, diversified, value-added, and globally competitive tree crops industry in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, as a regulatory authority in a dynamic sector, TCDA has developed a comprehensive 5-year strategy and implementation plan starting from 2022 to 2027 to address existing and emerging challenges. This strategy developed in partnership, This strategy developed in partnership with both the public and private sectors and with support from development partners is designed to strengthen Ghana's tree crop sector through mobilized resources, targeted investment, and meaningful partnerships. Our strategy establishes a framework for transforming the industry in line with Ghana's goal of sustainable and inclusive growth. Specifically, the strategy focuses on fostering a robust, sustainable supply chain and supported by demand-driven research and development, targeted value chain support, building institutional capacity to foster sustainable practices, and developing an enabling policy and regulatory environment to attract private sector investment. Ladies and gentlemen, the TCDA Governing Board's top priority is to establish a world-class institution that fosters a competitive, sustainable, and market-driven tree crop industry in Ghana. Over the medium term, the board anticipates significant industry transformation through the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project, focusing on 3 key areas. 1, policy and regulatory development. In this area, we intend to create an environment conducive to public and private sector investment while enhancing TCDA's institutional capacity and the governance of value chain associations to stimulate growth. 2, market responsiveness. This will strengthen and coordinate demand-driven research to improve quality and competitiveness in tree crop production, processing, and trading. 3, private sector growth. Here we are going to be fostering a thriving private sector to drive economies of scale and sustainable growth through processing, value addition, and thereby creating decent jobs. Under the GTCPD, resources will be allocated to support inclusive and sustainable transformation in the cashew, coconut, and rubber value chains. Also, the authority is expanding its strategic partnerships to attract additional resources for mango, oil palm, and shea transformation. On behalf of TCDA board and staff, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the Honorable Minister, Honorable Dr. Brian Echampong, members of Parliament, the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Agric, Food and Agric, the World Bank, Cocoa Board, and all other stakeholders who have worked tirelessly to make this project a reality. to our national research institutions, farmers, traders, processors, and all other stakeholders. You are at the heart of this initiative. The Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project is committed to supporting you, enhancing your capabilities, and equipping you to thrive in a competitive global market. Your dedication and collaboration will be instrumental in bringing our shared vision to life for the benefit of all Ghanaians. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. So the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project, what is it all about? What is it? What is it bringing? What are the promises? What is there to know? It says, sowing the seeds of the future, unlocking Ghana's tree crop potential for inclusive and sustainable transformation. What does it mean beyond the English? What does it mean on the ground? We're going to get an overview of this project, and to do that, we have two project coordinators, Dr. Foster Boateng and Mr. Wahab Suleiman. Dr. Boateng is a socio-economic development expert with over 30 years of experience in agriculture, public policy formulation and implementation. He holds a PhD in applied agricultural economics and policy. He's the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Tree Crops Development Authority and serves as the current Management Board Chair of Ghana's CSIR Crop Research Institute. Please welcome Dr. Foster Boateng. Also coming to join him is Mr. Wahab Suleiman, an agricultural economist with 14 years experience in agricultural research, policy formulation, and implementation in the cocoa sector. He previously served as the technical advisor on cocoa affairs at the Ministry of Finance and is currently a deputy manager with the Research, Monitoring, and Evaluation Department of Cocoa Board. He's the coordinator for the cocoa sector institutional support project and the cocoa component of the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project. Please welcome Mr. Wahab Suleiman. Shall we move this podium to the right as they... So who starts, who continues? He will start, Dr. Foster will start. Please, another round of applause for them, please.
Honorable Minister, Nananum, let me stand on existing protocol to proceed. First of all, Wahab wants me to start because I've been running errands for Wahab. Whether I like it or not, he's a Matusala in the tree crop. He comes from Cocoa Board. And so I have to run errands for him. That's no problem, I can do that. But before I start, let me share a little anecdote with you. There was a school in London, and there was this young man who's a Gujarati in the school. And their teacher said, who is the most famous and the most important person ever lived on this planet? Everybody put up his hand, and he said, when you get a correct answer, I give you 250 pounds. Everybody put up his hand. He said, oh, it's the President of America. They called so many names. Then this Gujarati put up his hand and said, it's Jesus Christ. And of course, it was a mission school, so that was a perfect answer. So the teacher called him and said, come, step forward. Take the 250 pounds. He was about to go back to his seat, and he said, did you really mean that? He said, no. Business is business. I would have said Hare Krishna. So business is business. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Tree Crop Diversification Project. I think if you hear the earlier speakers, it is meant to really enhance the potential that Ghana has in these tree crops. And so we want to make it more competitive. By making it competitive, we also want to make sure that the impact of this project on people, nature, and climate is also taken care of as much as possible. So in the investment is to look at making us enhance productivity, adding value, creating jobs, at the same time addressing the adverse effect on people, nature, and climate. So our presentation will be in this form. We'll give a description about the project, and then we'll talk about geographical location in terms of targeted beneficiaries. We'll also talk about the implementation arrangement, and then what success looks like for us, and then the next steps. After this launch, and then what? So as I said, the project development objective actually is to improve economic, climate, and social resilience in selected tree crops in Ghana. And we have mentioned the tree crops. They are cashew, coconut, cocoa, and rubber. These are the ones that have been selected. If we want to achieve economic resilience outcome, we are looking at enhancing productivity as much as possible, and also drive value addition. That will make Ghana very competitive in these value chains. We're also looking at climate resilience outcomes. I think everybody is worried about the impact of agriculture on the environment. So as part of this project, we are also how to see we strengthen adaptation and mitigation strategies in a way to enhance environmental quality in terms of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The third one is looking at social resilience. How is this project impacting on people? And then when we're talking about that, we are talking about issues around child labor, gender inequality, and the like. Basically, this is what the project seeks to do at the end of the day. Now, what is the project cost and the duration? The total cost of this project is 200 million from the IDA support. Now, the envelope is said that the total envelope comes to 227, because when the CEO of Cocoa Board was speaking, he mentioned Cocoa Board's contribution. When we grow and get there, we'll also match you with the fund. But we are not grown yet. So ride on your back. And so this money is split between Cocoa Board and TCDA. TCDA has 100 million. Cocoa Board also has 100 million, plus they are 27.5. This project is supposed to run for 6 years. Now let's see, the project has 4 key components. But the first 3 are the technical components that investments are going to be channeled to drive the objectives we are looking for to achieve the PDO. The 4th component just look at administrative issues and how we are addressing fiduciary issues like financial management, procurement, and the rest. The first component of the project is looking at institutional capacity building and value chain support. Why are we doing that? Because if we want to make tree crops sustainable, we need to build systems. And systems is about strong institutions. That is why we feel that these institutions need to be strengthened. I'm talking about institutions of Cocoa Board, institutions of tree crops, and also the value chain actors within those tree crops we are mentioning. Talking about the associations and their umbrella associations. Component 1, we are spending only 8% of the money to build that kind of structure. Component 2 is where the rubber hits the road. And that is where we are doing the on-farm productivity to make our farmers competitive and to make Ghana tree crop competitive. So we are spending 64% of the resources there. Component 3 is value addition. If we want to crank in the jobs, we need to add value. Otherwise, we are exporting our jobs away. So that is why we seek to allocate 20% of the resources to be able to add value, create the jobs we are looking for. And of course, we need 8% because for component 4, because Wahab told me that complement alone don't pay the bill. His bill needs to be paid. So part of the money is put into component 4 to look at administrative issues. So I'll hand over to Wahab to deep dive in the components. Thank you.
Thank you. When your senior brother says he's running errands for you, you know that he's leaving the bigger job for you ahead. Thank you. So component 1 is institutional strengthening and value chain governance. In this component, the project will be focusing on 3 lines of investment. 3 lines of investment. The first is institutional capacity strengthening for both Cocoa Board and TCDA. And Cocoa Board will be implementing a medium-term capacity building strategy. TCDA will be strengthening the value chain governance of the selected value chains in the project. We'll also be looking at certain policies and regulations that can enhance export of products from the free zones. The component will be strengthening already ongoing plans and activities in the digital space. We'll be investing in the Cocoa Board CMS and the TCDA digital platform to enhance the value chain governance, bring on board all stakeholders along the supply chain in a very efficient manner. There's a third part of the component that is dealing with responding to issues of child labor, and in this we'll be conducting crop-specific surveys to understand the prevalence rate of child labor in each of these value chains that we have selected. We'll also be undertaking a functional capacity assessment and improvement for Cocoa Board and TCDA, and there will be a general awareness creation on child labor for the value chains that we are working in. This component will be implemented closely with the Office of the Head of Local Government Service, with Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Employment. The second component, which Foster said is where we hit, the rubber hits the road, is where the money is really going to be spent, and that is on improving productivity and climate resilience. In this component, we are looking at 3 buckets of investment. First is demand-driven research. That is research into scientific research in all the value chains we have selected to provide the solutions that we need to the current challenges that we are facing in the sector in the 3 value chains. The second will be improving on-farm productivity and raising incomes of farmers through that. And the third will be strengthening collective action through the support of FBOs. The demand-driven research would first look at supporting critical infrastructure for research among the selected research institutions. So the Cocoa Research Institute, the Oil Palm Research Institute, the Crop Research Institute, And we'll be working to look for an integrated solution for managing CSSVD in cocoa, which is the deadly, and my CEO called it the deadly and virulent CSSVD. There will also be competency-based training for the researchers of these institutions, and we want to establish and institutionalize a market-led pre-crop research agenda. In cocoa, the project will be rehabilitating 25,000 hectares of diseased farms in the Western North region, that is Adabokrom and Isem, and in the Eastern region in Asamankese. It would be providing operational logistics and supporting extension services, as well as undertaking certification of cocoa in the rehabilitated areas. In cashew, coconut, and rubber, the project will be supporting commercial nursery establishments to multiply and supply elite planting materials to farmers. We will be facilitating the acquisition of planting materials. We'll be delivering climate-smart agriculture through e-extension, and we'll be facilitating farmer field schools for learning and application of knowledge. We'll be supporting collective action in terms of supporting cocoa cooperatives in cocoa and in the other value chains to bring them together to access market and to improve productivity and improve their value addition activities. Particularly in cocoa, we'll be targeting the byproducts for this and also helping them to market the plantain that we are producing a lot through the rehabilitation project. What do we expect? From this component, we hope that by the time the project is finished, we'll be seeing newly established or upgraded research labs for the research institutions that we have, and we'll be having a demand-driven research agenda that is strengthened with researchers producing research output that the market is demanding. We would have our cocoa farms rehabilitated and in a climate-smart manner and sequestering carbon and selling that carbon on the carbon market for additional incomes to farmers. We will have increased access to planting materials for coconut and rubber and cashew, with the nurseries producing the elite planting materials and farmers having access to these in a timely manner. FBOs will be provided with business and governance capacity. The third component is about value addition, and my senior brother will take over, if he agrees.
Thank you, Ahab. Ahab, you are putting me on the spot. You see, it reminds me of a guy who used to clean the office of the dean of the English faculty. And when the guy, anytime he goes out there to clean, he'll sit on his swivel chair and be turning himself around. And somebody entered the room and said, "Why are you doing that? Are you the dean of the English faculty?" He said, "Yes, I is." Okay. Let me go to component 3. Component 3 is about post-harvest management, and I think in my presentation I said one key thing that will make Ghana competitive, we have to add value so that we can create the jobs. So this is the component that speaks to that. That component is going to look at how we support our value chain actors to add more value. Particularly if you take cashew, we process only about 10% less and export 90%. We are exporting our jobs away. So as part of this project, by the end of the project, at least we should process 25% of what we produce here, together with coconut as well. How can we add value? So it is about value addition. And what are we doing? We are targeting SMEs, large and mid-large, so that in cocoa, cashew, coconut value chains, and see how we can improve their access to financial resources. The project is not a bank, but what the project is going to do is we give them TA support, we position them in such a way that they'll be attractive to a bank. And then also there are investments that we are providing as a matching grant to enable them leverage resources from the bank as well. So when you look at it, we are targeting 3 key areas. First of all, we are looking at the financing, targeting 185 SMEs, 185 SMEs, where 25 of them are mid-large SMEs. And then we have 160 targeting small and medium. Now we have an investment of 84 million that we are anticipating. IDA fund is coming out with 39.3 million. And we are looking out for partner financial institutions to unlock almost about 29.8 from them, and then also 14.9 from beneficiaries or SMEs who want to participate in the program. So basically, when we are able to do that, we'll strengthen SMEs in their operations, in value addition. We also anticipate that we can also support them in terms of access to expos fairs to promote made in Ghana cashew or oil or cocoa added products. Then at the end of it all, we hope to create 20,000 jobs directly from these 3 commodities. Wow. What did you say about component 4? Then you say it.
Okay, when your senior brother sends you, what do you do? Okay, so component 4 is about the project management, and should I say it?
Say it. You have my vision.
Okay. So he said I shouldn't say it. So component 4 is about project management and operations, and it's basically going to help us to put together the coordination that is required, the reporting that is required, the M&E, the safeguards that we need, and then the knowledge building and how we manage that knowledge and transfer onto the institutions and other projects alike within the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, as well as across the World Bank portfolio. Also dealing with how we communicate on the project. How are we going to disburse? There are 3 main channels through which the money would flow: through consultancy, non-consultancy services, and through grants. and this will apply across TCDA and Cocoa Board. In terms of geographical focus, where will this project be implemented on the ground? In terms of the component 3, we see that it will cut across, but the on-farm productivity activities will take place in specific areas. For cocoa, we are working in the western north and the eastern region. For cashew, coconut, and rubber, we are looking at the Bono East, the Bono, the Savannah, the eastern region. Right? Good. The project overall will help to about 52,000 farmers and create about 20,000 jobs through the investments in SMEs. How are we going to implement the project? Senior, you are the senior brother.
Thank you, Ahab. Thank you, Ahab. I'll do that in a jiffy. Please, spare me. I just want to share my last anecdote. I won't say anything again. There was this church organization. They used to sell Bibles. For me, I want to tell you how people can convert their debilities into their strengths. And there was this guy in the team had a debility in speaking. In simple put, he was a stammerer. Forgive me, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody who stammers, but this guy's strength, he sold the largest, made the largest sale. So everybody was saying that, how did you make it? He said, you know me, whenever I come to you, I ask you whether you buy a Bible or I should read it to you. And the obvious answer is, I'll buy. So, okay, let's continue. The project implementation assists with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. That's the implementing, and they have ceded their rights to TCD and Cocoa Board to do the direct implementation. So you'll see Cocoa Board and TCD, and there's a steering committee chaired by Ministry of Food and Agriculture, and this I'll say chaired by the minister. And then each of the PIUs, we have project staff, technical staff who's supposed to do the day-to-day. We have the project coordinators, we have agribusiness, we have financial management specialists, MAE, all the specialists you can think of. And we interface with the beneficiaries because sometimes the minister is busy, can't interface with you, so we have to interface with you. So we sit there and interface with you guys. Now the question is, having said this, how does success look like? We believe that if we successfully implement this project, we will improve economic, climate, social resilience in selected 3 crops, and it will lead to 3 key impact goals. 1, we enhance resilience. We are talking about economic resilience, climate, and social. We also will increase jobs and enhance incomes of farm households. We will increase Ghana's competitiveness, and will bring more foreigners into Ghana. So the question is, after this launch, where are we going? Now, the party is over after this launch. We are going to get our hands dirty in the field. And so we have outlined 8 key activities that we are going to zoom in ASAP. Start with the institutional capacity building, working with the value chain associations, do our child labor component that we have started, do our digitization, facilitate research and development, and then do the field rehabilitation and then supply of planting materials for farmers to enhance productivity. We'll facilitate FBO, we formalize FBOs. We need to formalize these FBOs. And then we'll do a full rollout of our matching grant for SMEs. On that note, Minister, I crave your indulgence to sit down. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So which component belongs to the Bible selling crew? component for. Thank you. A big round of applause for them. It's now time for our brief panel discussion. And let me quickly introduce our panelists. Please, when I call you, kindly walk over here and I'll be saying stuff about you whilst you come. I'll start with the ladies. Please, let's welcome Madame Felicia Ajua Sentem. Madame Sentem is a seasoned cocoa farmer with over 3 decades of experience in producing premium quality cocoa. She's a shining example of the success of the various products by enhancement programs introduced to cocoa farmers. Madame Sentem is a 2023 National Best Cocoa Farmer, the second woman in the history of the awards. Please. Now, let's also welcome Madame Lucy Afari. She's a chocolate artisan and consultant. She's the founder and CEO of Flexi Foods Limited, an agro-processing company dedicated to processing Ghana's premium cocoa. She's an executive member of Cocoa Value Addition Artisans Association of Ghana. Please welcome her. Yeah, it's good you sat there so that the gentleman will. Okay, please let's welcome Mr. Kojo Nunu. Mr. Kojo Nunu. He's an experienced managerial professor with demonstrated track record of working in the food and beverages industry, financial management, fund management, and logistics. He's currently the managing director of GKV Foods Limited, an agro-processing company focused on the cocoa value chain. Please welcome him again. There's a lot to be read about him, but because he walked so fast, I had to cut it short. Okay, please welcome Mr. Emmanuel Owusu. Mr. Emmanuel Owusu. He's the president of the Association of National Rubber Actors of Ghana. He holds a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Leicester and is a skilled negotiation, budgeting, business planning, and operations management man. Please welcome him. I realized that he was slowing down, so I get to go through all that. And then last but not the least, Mr. Ko Amponsa Sam. Please welcome him. He's a seasoned entrepreneur and innovator who boasts of over 2 decades of experience in pioneering agricultural and technological solutions across West Africa. Notably, he founded Ekumfi Fruits and Juices and serves as a senior advisor for Equiapim Gold and Central Citrus, demonstrating his entrepreneurial acumen. Please welcome them all. So this is how the format is going to be. Each of them will give us 5 minutes of their experience in the industry. We want to get practical. We want to get down to earth with it. And then after that, we'll have an interaction of what they have contributed. And then at the end of it all, our special guest, Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III, will give us his overview over what they said. So let's get straight to it. Let me start with the ladies. Madame Felicia Ajua Sentem, please share with us your experience. Yeah, each of you has a microphone by your side, I guess. Yeah, there it is, please. Yeah, please, you just take about 4 or 5 minutes to give us your general experience.
Hello, everybody. Yes, my name has been mentioned already. Let me say, I won my first award in 2001. The district best cocoa farmer, when I was given a certificate, Wellington boost, and 1 machete. And I was so happy with it. Then in 2000, I won the regional best cocoa farmer, and I got a tricycle, Aboboya. I was so excited. I kept on working. In 2001, I won the most enterprising female cocoa farmer. Then I said, oh, this will be the end. And then they were following 2 years, 2003, I won the National Best Cocoa Farmer. So that has been my journey. It didn't come just by heart, but through hard work. I remember some years ago when my late mom was alive, I used to follow her to the farm, not to work. You would have said child labor, no, but just to play around, eat fruits, and whenever the farmers, the work hands saw me, they would slaughter chicken for me, and I'll be happy, and eating eggs. Then when she passed, the mantle fell on me, and I had to go and continue her work. I was afraid her ghost would chase me, say, you left my work unattended to. So I continued, and I started winning awards. Then in 2014 or so, I invited the Cocoa Board, the technical men, to be precise, Dr. Usu Ansa, to my farm to see why am I not getting enough yields? Because if I look at the size of the farm, 100 acres, I'm not earning enough. I'm not getting enough cocoa beans. Then he said, your farm is diseased. I said, what? He said, it's got what we call sasambro. That's a swollen shoot. What do we do? Because I've been spraying and pruning. He said, no, you have to cut the whole thing down. So we started cutting down. We didn't cut the whole thing. I think we cut about 40 acres. And the people in the area were not in support of my cutting the trees down. They said, how come you're cutting the trees, the cocoa trees? I didn't say anything. But later, when they saw what was coming out, everybody started rushing to cut down the diseased trees. I continued till now. The last batch has been cut down, and we've planted, and I'm so happy and excited. I mean, the cocoa work is not easy. It's tedious, very, very tedious, and a lot of money goes into it. But fortunately for me, Cocoa Board helps. Cocoa Board, I do my heart to you. You give me inputs, you give me technical advice, whatever I need. If I see anything, I report to the health division, and they come and to my rescue. So they give me inputs, pesticides, spraying machines, fertilizer, both liquid and the solid one, the one like salt. And they do help me a lot. So I will even advise other farmers also to consult Cocoa Board. Anytime they are in difficulty, they should just go in, tell them their problem, and I'm sure their problems will be solved. Nothing will be ignored. People were complaining, we cut down the trees, we have not planted. When it's your turn, they will come. And then when they cut down the trees, please don't just relax. Do help. It's do help. We have in our proverb that if your chin or something is falling and somebody says, hold it, I'm going for a twine to help you, and say, if you don't hurry up, I'll leave it, my chin to fall down. No, please, never leave your chin to fall down. The moment they start helping you, you should also help yourself. I think that's all I can say to my farmers.
Yeah, thank you. I'll come back with some cross-examination. Madam Lucy, please, your experience.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. In processing of cocoa and cashew, I have been involved in these two crops, and I'll say that I and other people who are into value addition fill the gap in where Dr. Boateng said that just about 10% processed locally. 90% are exported in their raw state. So for me, I produce roasted cashew. I produce vegan chocolate made from cashew nuts. So you have white chocolate made from cashew. You have milk chocolate with cashew. And we also coat cashew nuts with chocolate as well. In addition to that, we also make artisanal chocolate using cocoa liquor and butter that we source from our primary processes. So I'll say that the journey hasn't been easy. I mean, although it's also very rewarding, I'll say that value addition is where you get most of the profit of these crops. And so when we are, I'm so glad to see that the project also has a component of promoting value addition and also empowering MSMEs to also add value. Through these same value additions, I and other processors have offered jobs to Ghanaian youth, women and men as well, and also retain some of the value in Ghana as well to develop our country. In addition to that, these crops are very nutritious. I mean, it's for no reason that it's exported. So once we add value here, we also get a chance to consume it. So we also promote the nutrition in the country. So in my experience, the value addition actors also are playing a key role in also promoting good nutrition in the country, in addition to creating jobs and also bringing economic value to the country. A few challenges that we may have now, I mean, in the cashew sector right now, if you ask any processor, he will tell you that, non-availability of cashew nuts at this moment. Because when the season comes, we compete with foreign buyers to buy the cashew that is produced here. So most of the time, it all rushes out, and what is left for us to, buy and process becomes very small. I also see some challenges in financing of purchasing of these raw cashew nuts. It's quite capital intensive, and most local buyers who compete with these foreign people do not have the financial muscle to be able to buy in large quantities to stock for us to use. That there is real shortage of cashew kernels in the country. I think that there's also issue about, capital intensity of the equipment. If you talk to primary processors of raw cashew nuts, it's very capital intensive, getting this equipment and the technology behind it. So you realize that there is a lot of manual work also going on. I see those are the challenges that we face in processing.
All right, a lot of questions are running through my mind. We'll go around, I'll come back to you. Mr. Nunu, please, your insights.
Good morning. So my journey started with my health condition. It's like I was diagnosed with diabetes, and as a result of trying to find a solution to the problem, a friend introduced me to coconut oil, which I started using. And within the space of about 3 months, I noticed that, yes, my sugars had stabilized quite considerably. And so it actually got my interest, and I said, is it really doing what it's doing? So I decided to research a bit into it. And the more I read about it, the more I got convinced that, yes, coconut oil really has some good to offer in terms of health benefits. And so with that, I said, why are all of these young people, at the time I was relatively young, that's about 15, 20 years ago, why are we suffering from this problem of diabetes, blood pressure, and all of those things? And so I said, okay, if that is the case, then let's go about telling the young people that, look, as you work hard and all of that, try and then eat good food or eat well. As you eat well, try and then, for your fats, use coconut oil instead of using the other fats. But I realized that on the Ghanaian market, the coconut oil that was around was really not the type that, yes, these young people would easily take to. And so it just occurred to me that, hang on, this is an opportunity that you can take advantage of. I've always had that entrepreneurial mind. And so I just said, okay, if that's the case, let's look at the possibility of going into this. And one thing led to the other. I contacted the CSR, their coconut research unit. We went about looking into it, going into the farms, the farming areas and all of that, just to be sure that, yes, indeed, we have enough coconuts to process and all of that. We also looked at the equipment, we looked at the processing methodology and all of that, and then we realized that, yes, indeed, this is a feasible business that we could do. So we said, okay, if that's the case, let's produce it for the young people in the way that they would like it. And so we not only looked at the production quality, made sure that, yes, indeed, the product that we come out with was not a type which would put consumers away, and then also package it such that when they see it, they would love to use it. Because if you look at the benefits of coconut oil compared to olive oil, for instance, they're almost the same, if not better. And so if you're going to tell me that, yes, coconut oil is as equal or better than olive oil, now it must look and feel it for me to believe it. And so we packaged it in glass and then also did it such that, yes, it's good product. And for people to put it on the dining table so that they can use it. So that's what we started doing in 2017. And from there, we also realized that if we're going to do only the coconut oil, we won't get the full benefit of coconuts because there are a lot of other things that we could use coconut for. So we looked into the snacks, healthy snacks. Can we make healthy snacks for our children who are going to school? So we set about to do it, and now we have a product in the snacks sector as well. We also, as a company, look at the philosophy of zero waste. That is the coconut that comes to the farm, to the factory. How can we utilize every bit of it? And so apart from the coconut oil, we do coconut chips. We also process the shell into coconut charcoal, which we sell locally and then export. Then also the husk, we do not throw it away, but rather we use it as biofuel for our boilers and other equipment.
Interesting. Thank you so much. We'll come for further insights on that. Mr. Owusu, your insights, Rabba?
Good morning. I'm going to talk about a commodity that brought all of us here. We all came on rubber because nobody walked to Kempinski. And if even you landed from wherever, you landed on rubber, the plane landed on rubber. But you realize that rubber is not known in our country, that commodity. And it's because of our history. And I'll just give a brief event why this has been so. In 1957, a company, East Asiatic company, developed 923 hectares of rubber in Disco in the Western region. Then in 1960, this was nationalized and it was incorporated into Agricultural Development Corporation. And then we know ADC developed into SFC, State Farms Corporation, and State Farms further developed more rubber plantations across our country. And in 1960, around the same time, individuals and cooperatives were allowed to develop rubber on their own, and they planted 3,500 hectares. Then in 1968, our government then entered into a joint venture with Firestone, and Firestone established a type factory at Bonsasu in the Western region. And our government used the rubber planted as Ghana Rubber Estates as the equity in that joint venture. 1981, this joint venture was abrogated, and that is where rubber was not known because farmers that had been encouraged to develop rubber couldn't find any market. In fact, most of them cut their rubber down. But all was not lost. In between 1988 and 1996, under the Agricultural Diversification Project, rubber was rehabilitated as part of that component. And so a new pressing plant and all that was built. And then between 1995 and 2016, we had 5 phases of the rubber project. And so that is how now rubber is in the scene. So rubber is a commodity that has a very big growth potential. In fact, in 2023, just last year, the value worldwide was $32 billion. And it has been projected the compound average growth rate at 3.5% is going to grow between 2024 and 2030 to 46 billion USD. So that is the potential of that market. But in Ghana, let me now come to zoom into Ghana. We have the good climatic conditions. We are closer to Europe, so the market distance and all that turnaround is good. We have other components where rubber, we have rubber wood, we have rubber chippings, and then of course you can add value to it. But we have challenges, and challenges, the financing. You know, it's difficult to put up a processing factory. You need a big capital layout. And then the working capital for the processor is also very high, because when you buy 1 kg of rubber from a farmer, you need about 2 to 3 months before you get your money back through processing and shipping and all that. And also when it comes to raw material availability, now I would say we have about 85,000 hectares of rubber planted. And last year, our production was about 110,000 tons of rubber. But now, this raw material is being exported, and processors are not having access to the material. Côte d'Ivoire is now number 3 in the world. And last year, they produced 1.65 million tons of rubber. This year, their target is 1.86 million. And this translates to about 2.7 million USD. That's the potential. And Côte d'Ivoire has banned the export of rubber. Liberia has banned the export of rubber. Papua New Guinea, they have banned the export of rubber. But this is what is happening to us. Now, reaching the market, it's not all that difficult when you have a processed rubber. The challenge is that African rubber is discounted. Even Côte d'Ivoire, that is number 3, its rubber is discounted. And for me, the major reason is that we do not have a standard African rubber. Thailand is number 1. They have STR, standard Thailand rubber, SIV, Indonesian rubbers, and Cambodia and all that. But we don't have. So we can leverage on the success of Côte d'Ivoire, and we can have a standard African rubber. Then we can talk. Then, let me just make this challenge. Then the EUDR has also come in. European Union Deforestation Regulation is something that has also come. Rubber is one of the crops that is supposed to be EUDR compliant. And that is also a challenge, because to make sure, you know, the EUDR, we have the technical aspect, the geolocation, and the legal aspect, the land acquisition and all that. So this is also a challenge for the rubber industry. Yeah. I'll come in when
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Let's now hear from Mr. Mposesam.
Yeah, thank you very much. My background has been in this space because I was born in a factory in Wamco, and cocoa had been my food, my everything. We used to drink it every morning. Cocoa was everything. And you play in the factory, you walk around, and you ask yourself, where was this cocoa coming from? What if it never came back? What would happen to the factory? So these were all things that juggled your mind. And remember 81 when cocoa was not coming, and so they had to go and, you know, marshal that from the bush and all that. So you see plants lying idle. Then at that time, I was quite a kid. What I used to do was sell mangoes, a lot of mangoes from my house to the school. When I go to school, I have a basket of mangoes that I sell to my classmates and make some money, and I was in class 3. I said, okay, it looks like that tree grows and I make money from it. So any tree that grows, you get something out of it. So that was my passion for agriculture, that it's only a seed that came out and I'll be making money from the mangoes I sell to my classmates. So from there I said, okay, why don't I look at value addition? So right going through school, the passion had been that how to convert those seeds to make money out of them whilst they grow, so you make some money out of the earth. And through school, worked at the Central Regional Development Commission as an intern. You go around and you see all citrus rotting, farmers crying, and you wonder what was happening. And this had been the pain till recent 2015, 2016, when the president came up with a policy of 1 district, 1 factory. By then, I was into technology. I'd worked at Nigeria, worked at Côte d'Ivoire, all in agriculture. So I've been in the agri space and also processing. But when 1D, 1F came, we said no. the farmers in the central region don't have any value for whatever they grow. They go rotten. What can we tackle that can do something valuable? Because you've been an entrepreneur, you've been in the manufacturing space. What can you do? We said we want to turn pineapple first because it has a shorter gestation period. That was 14 months, as against oranges that would take about another, let's say, 18 to 24 months to start fruiting. As we picked that fruit, what was the basis? Ghana has been importing $240 million of juices each year. And what are we importing? Majority are just concentrates and synthetic drinks. So what we wanted to fit in was, how do we turn, that mango story, adding value to it, and giving it a full store value to be on the shelf? And luckily we got support from the Exim Bank, and from there we got the support from the Ministry of Agriculture and the OVCF program to support the initial stage of crop multiplication. And I believe that, and we are very happy that Ghanaians have been enjoying a confidence to date, and we want to add on to the tree crop and make sure that coconut is also packaged onto boxes. And I believe that that challenge was said to me once by the Honorable Minister, hey, if we're doing crops, do tree crops that can have continuous flow of supply. And so we are looking into that. We've done citron is getting there. We'd love to add coconut in packaging so that at the end of the day, every fruit yield you have, the value turns 3 times when it's put into that box and has a shelf life 2 years minimum. So that is what gives Ghana the value.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. We're rushing out of time. We'll go quick. Lucy, you mentioned the competition with foreign buyers. Now, the minister is here. The World Bank country director is here. One of the project development objectives of the tree crop diversification project is to enhance competitiveness. What do you think can be done by the project to give you a leverage when it comes to that situation?
Thank you. I know there are various actors in the value chain, and I believe that from the project that has been shown to us, the deliverables, the Tree Crop Development Authority is there, and there are other partners like the Cashew Council, like the Africa Cashew Alliance. These are people who have been supporting cashew processors all along the way. I believe that this project can support them to be able to help MSMEs in the value addition. I also believe that we should promote consumption of our local products in Ghana. If we don't promote it and people consume it, there will be no market for it, so we even process it and there won't be any market. Eco juice is one of my favorite juice for my children for school, and so should we also promote cashew, cocoa consumption, drinking of cocoa, which is very healthy for us. I would say that as part of this project, there should also be value addition promotion and consumption promotion as well, and that will build the demand for processing. And last but not the least, empower the companies that are into value addition. It is very expensive, and I know that there are government initiatives that are helping companies. There are smaller ones, there are MSMEs who just need a little bit of push to turn things around. I hope to see the benefits of this new project going into small businesses, micro businesses that will turn these cash crops into value-added products for local consumption and also for export markets.
Great. Missing Tim, component 2 hits the ground. Now, what insights, possibly, what foresights do you have in terms of getting to a point where a cocoa farmer would have benefited so much from government and cocoa board that he or she will be able to stand on his own and compete and possibly do enough to push the cocoa industry forward from that corner?
Thank you. I think the cocoa farmer, first of all, I think that most women are cocoa farmers, and unfortunately, they are the poorest. So I think we should do something about that. And because the cocoa we produce, we don't consume the cocoa. The chocolate, we say, is expensive. And how many, if you go to a village and ask how many of you have ever tasted chocolate? If we call 10 people, I'm sure maybe 1 or just 0.5. We should do something about that so that if we know the value of the cocoa, we just sell the cocoa. We sell the cocoa. We don't use it. If you use it at all, just a little portion, let a few beans for your soup or stew and nothing else. And also about the disadvantages or the cocoa farmer needs to be helped. We need schools for the poor peasant people in the villages. We don't have schools, and roads, we don't have to talk about that. We know gradually we are getting the water and electricity and a whole lot that the farmer also needs to be pushed so that we'll somehow appreciate what is happening.
Okay. Recently, the amounts that go to the farmer has increased.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. To what extent do you think the farmer can leverage on that to leap forward?
Well, they have incurred so much debt, and I'm sure they are going to clear, because when the farmer goes to the purchasing clerk for money, advance money, instead of going to pay that, they take it to another purchasing clerk, and so that bulk is also there. They owe. So already they are in debt. I know this is helping. The 3,100. We were so excited, or we are so excited about that, because we never estimated we were going to have something like that. And now that we have it, I'm sure we are rejoicing. But we hope to get more. We hope.
Thank you. Mr. Nunu, value addition. Here comes a project, tree crop diversification project. And it's very strong out there in one of the components. If the project comes to you saying, what help do you want? What do we do to help you in terms of value addition? Not just stay around the same circles, but move beyond that. What would you want from the project?
So first, we will have to look at the production capacity. Raw material is a big issue in this country. Most of us, when it comes to the export business, face challenges being able to get enough raw materials to supply. So increasing production of the raw material is very, very crucial. And then the regulation of it, making sure that, yes, there's enough raw material in the system for processing. We need to also look at value addition capacity, that is increasing the capacity of processors to ensure that, yes, they will be in a position to process whatever is produced in the country by way of adding value to it and then making sure that, yes, we can meet our demand. The other thing that we should be looking at also is sustainability in terms of how we go about our processing as well as production to make sure that, yes, whatever we are doing, there's less impact on the environment. And also, that is what the customers are looking for. So we need to direct it, make sure that, yes, we process on the basis of sustainability and then ensure traceability as well, so that, yes, our customers will demand more from us and we will be able to supply them. Thank you.
Sustainable transformation. Thank you. Mr. Osu, you know, I sometimes get the opportunity to talk to farmers, and one of the key issues they raise is markets, opening up markets. And yet, when the opportunity comes and maybe the market linkages are created, it becomes an issue because they don't have enough to feed the market. So you have the situation where the door has been opened, but they're still holding back. What goes on, what goes wrong over there? And in case the diversification project comes up with those open markets, how will the rubber industry leverage on it?
Thank you, Will. I've already told you we don't have the raw material. So I'm excited that we have TCDP coming on to supply enough planting material. That's good. I've been in the rubber industry for 40 years. I'm a planter, I'm a technical assistant provider, I'm a processor now. So I cut across all the value chain. And you know, planting material costs in the rubber industry is about 70% of the cost for year one planting. So if we have this project, that's going to supply affordable and good planting material to farmers, it's good. Now, the other side is the control. For me, what I would say is that for this project to succeed, it depends on the value chain actors and the regulator, TCDA, as far as all the commodities are concerned. Because we are the actors. If we don't do our bit well, and I'm excited about the institutional capacity building of value chain at the FBOs. I talk about rubber. We never had an umbrella association for rubber for so many years. Well, of course, we had some for the farmers, but not umbrella body. Because of this project, we now have ANRAC. So it's even working now. We have ANRAC, we have association for the processors, RUPAC, we have RUA, we have ASFRO, we have Naruta. There's so many associations coming up. And so it's because of this project. And the last thing I want to say is that if you look at Côte d'Ivoire, they have an interprofessional body called APROMAC, and that has driven the rubber industry in Côte d'Ivoire. And that's why Côte d'Ivoire is number 3 in the world now. They produce 12% of total rubber in the world. So, and I believe that we can also be there. I'm not saying number 3 or what, we are number 4 in Africa. We can be number 2 because we cannot get to Côte d'Ivoire. But I am hopeful that with this project, markets are opening. The regulator should do its work in terms of making sure, and there's a regulation backing at the LI to the Act, and it's Regulation 50. And it's very clear that if we have not had enough rubber for the local processors, we should not allow export. So it's very clear. And if the regulator is doing its work, we don't have a problem. And I'm telling you, we have enough capacity in our country as processors to process all that can be produced in our country. And we are adding value, we are creating jobs, and all that.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sam, Mr. Nunu spoke about branding and packaging. Now, the Costco's, the Asda's and co. How do we flood those shelves with processed products from Ghana? And what challenges exist? What prevents us from doing so? The same way as we go into our malls and we see all those imported products all over the shelves. How do we, in fact, take over those shelves here in Ghana and then storm other shelves outside the country?
I would say that if we don't have the base material, we don't have anything. So it starts from the seed. If we could have reliable source of the base material that will grow the raw material required,